Over the next few lessons, we're going to have a look at Flash movie architecture. I use the term architecture because the way in which a Flash movie is constructed differs from most other design applications. I find that it becomes very easy to understand how all the parts of a Flash movie fit together if you look at it with a building block approach, and that is how we're going to tackle Flash movie architecture. There are a number of different types of Flash building blocks, but we're going to start with the most basic, the scene. Scenes in Flash are very much the same as scenes in, say, a Hollywood movie. They are discrete chunks of the total movie that usually, and notice that I say usually, play in order from start to finish. Everything that happens in the movie happens inside one of these scenes. So, using scenes, we can divide Flash projects up into manageable sized pieces to help us organize everything. You don't have to use multiple scenes in a project if you don't want to, but every single Flash movie contains at least one scene. This is why it is the most basic building block. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to manage scenes in Flash, but first, let's have a look at a graphical representation of how multiple scenes in a Flash movie work at runtime. Imagine a movie completely contained in one scene. Everything you put on the Flash stage is contained in this scene, and it runs through from start to finish. Pretty simple. Now, imagine the same movie using multiple scenes. After the first scene plays, the movie automatically moves on to the second scene. That plays, and you might even have a third scene. If you do, it plays when the second one is finished. Now, here is where the comparison with Hollywood movies stops. In Flash, you don't have to have every scene playing through in order. Using ActionScript, we can play only part of certain scenes, jump ahead to a scene further down the line, or even return to one that's already played through. Now let's have a look at how we manage scenes in the Flash authoring application. We do this using the Scene panel, and you can open that by choosing Window, Other Panels, and Scene. You can also hit Shift and the F2 key. As I said earlier, by default, every Flash movie has at least one scene, and you can see that here. If we want to add additional scenes, you can do that in one of two methods. You can either click here to duplicate the existing scene and use it as a starting template, or you can click here to add a blank scene. Once you do this, the Scene panel automatically selects the new scene, and you can start adding new content. To switch between scenes, simply select it in the Scene panel. You can rename scenes by double-clicking on the name. So we can make a movie that has one scene that's a preloader, another one that's the main content, and so on. Now again, as I said earlier, by default, Flash will start with the beginning scene, play it all the way through, and then automatically move on to the next scene, and so forth. If we don't want to use ActionScript to change the order of these, all you have to do is click and drag. So now, instead of main content playing second, the outro plays second, and then main content will play last. To delete a scene, simply hit the trash can button down here. Flash will ask you if you're sure about this. And if you hold down the Control key, that's on a PC, Command key on a Macintosh, when you click the delete button, you won't get that alert. Now later on in this course, I'm going to show you ActionScript that you can use to jump around between the scenes instead of playing them in order. But that will be later on in the course. So for now, that finishes our discussion of scenes in Flash.